Sunday. And so Taiwan was on the corner of BASSETT and Winchester, and I guess at his house. His family was on the porch, and he flagged me down and told us, and he said to his mother, "That's my teacher. That's Obama teacher." And so she thanked his mother from my porch, shouted and said thanks to us. So I want to just give you Taiwan a shout out to his family. We appreciate that with us. I don't know if over the weekend, that was a basketball. Manu Bo was, at the time, he was like the tallest player in the NBA. He was like 7'6". Can you imagine that? And you know how tall y'all mean. He said he's 7'4". You know y'all mean Chinese player? Yeah, Manu Bo was from the country in Sudan, in Africa. 7'6". I mean, yeah, that's tall. And he wasn't a great basketball player, he was just tall. But he was agile, he blocked a lot of shots. But that's not his claim to fame. He made it professional basketball, but his claim to fame was this. He will be remembered for this. He was from the country, you should research this, Sudan and Africa, which is a country that's faced a lot of challenges. Like they remember to the Civil War, a lot of cultural and religious issues going on there. But what he tried to do, he used the money that he made in basketball. He wanted to build hospitals. He wanted to build a hospital in this country. He wanted to build this country, build hospitals for his countrymen. He actually sat down at the table and tried to negotiate peace among the warring factions there. So his whole idea was, even though he was known the world over as a basketball player in his country, he said he saw that opportunity to use his fame and his notoriety for good, to build his country and then to save and help his fellow man. And that's a story for all of us. No matter what it is you do in life, whether you're fortunate to play ball or to make it a success and as a doctor, as a lawyer, an engineer, whatever you end up doing in life, use that station, use that opportunity, use that status in life to do good and try to help others. And that's the legacy of Manu Bo. Not that he was a good basketball player, but the fact that he lived his life trying to help others and save others. That's why he was remembered in his country, for building hospitals and trying to secure peace and to save his fellow man. That's the lesson, the legacy of the people who try to bring in front of you these last few weeks. And I think that's a perfect segue to bring up Mr. Green again. Mr. Willie Green again, as I mentioned earlier, man who grew up in this hood, as you can say, who made a lot of good contributions over the years. In fact, he went to the school. He attended this school. When he went to school, it was made of wood. It was a log cabin. So they had fire, like a fireplace down the street. But the point is, it was a while ago. But the fact is, he's here to tell the story. That's the point. He's here to tell the story and what he's done. People BASSETT is proud of him because he's done it as a success story. Someone came from this community, grew up and then went to this school, has gone out and made a great contribution to this community and continues to do so. So I'm going to bring up Mr. Green since he opened the program, bring some closing remarks to as well.
I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be here to speak. I agree with everything that Ms. Jackson said. I just want to add one thing. She said that I didn't have to do this. No, I didn't. I had to. Because there were a number of people that took an interest in my life and took the time to make sure that Willie Green stayed on track. So there is some real truth, and I know you guys have heard this saying before, that it takes a whole village to raise a child. So I have an obligation, I have a moral obligation to come back and do whatever I can and when I can. I've never left this community. I've been here since I was 9 years old. I'm 62 years old now. Proud to be here. I want to thank Mr. FICKLIN. I want to thank my good friend, Attorney Graves, for putting this program together. And again, giving me an opportunity just to share some things with you guys. And I think if I'm off course, please tell me. We want you to leave here doing a few things. One, respecting yourselves. Two, respecting each other. Knowing how to speak to one another. And knowing that just because we disagree on something doesn't necessarily mean we've got to take it to the school. We want to come to the table and be able to talk out our differences. And sometimes we're not going to always resolve them right here and there. But we have to make a commitment to each other. And we're going to come back here, same place, same time, and we're going to work on resolving the issues or the problems before us. It's just that simple, guys. Sometimes making the right decision is not popular in the eyes of others. But you got to think about what you're doing. The decisions you're going to make today, through high school, even when you go to college, will impact on how you're going to live, how you're going to take care of your family. And I want each and every one of you young men to be able to step out here and soar and reach for the stars. You don't have time to sit around and play in the gossip. You see folk gossiping? Say hello, keep on walking. It's nothing but a ball and chain. I'm going to tell you like it really is. It's nothing but a ball and chain, and it's the obstacle. You want to stay focused. You want to set your goals, and you don't let anything or anyone get in your way. Because your goal is to be a success. And success is defined in a number of ways. It's not about how much money we have in our pocket. It's not about the kind of car you drive. It's not about the clothes you wear. It's something really simple in terms of the way that we speak to people, the way that we treat people. And one thing that you got to remember is that the same way that you want to be treated, the same respect that you say that you want, you've got to give it. It's something that's earned. And we earn that by building a foundation where we talk to one another. Yes, what I'm saying might be a little repetitive, but I'm going to say it because I want you guys to understand that there is so much out there for you. You guys can do anything you want to do. Anything you want to do. You're only limited by your own lack of creativity. And I want you to be creative. I want you to say, hey, listen, this is where I want to be. And I want you to be able to say, I want to be here. I'm going to make a 5-year plan. And in 5 years, I want to go from here to there. And I guarantee you when it's all over, this young lady sitting right here, excuse me for pointing, because I know better.
That's okay.
She will have a smile as wide and as long as Dick's well. Because every one of us in this room wants to see each and every one of you succeed. I have buried too many young men over the last year and a half. And I'm tired of it. I want to see you young men. I want to pick up the paper, not reading about what went wrong. I want to pick up the paper and say, oh yeah, I remember this young man right here. He told me he wanted to be an NBA player. Well, he made it. Oh, this young man said he wanted to be a doctor. Someone told me when I spoke, they wanted to be an engineer. These are the kind of things that when we do a follow-up, these are the kind of things I want to be able to see and read. I made a decision a long time ago. You guys kind of laughed at me. I was pretty much, some of you guys, a little bit older. And a group of my guys, Mr. Graves mentioned this a couple of moments ago, they decided they were going to go into this store and they were going to pick some things up. I had to make a decision right then and there because I was riding with these guys and I'm across town. It took me about an hour and a half to walk home. And this is in the wintertime. And I knew my guys. And I looked at each and every one of them and I said, listen, if you go in this store, I'm going to tell. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell. Because I would much have rather faced an angry bear than have to go home and face my pop. Okay? Because Pop didn't play. But there was a bigger reason. Because I learned very early on. And let me be real with you. I don't do well in jail. I don't want anybody telling me when to get up, other than my mother and father. When to go to bed, when to come home, what I should wear, what I have to eat. Okay? I want to be able to make these kind of decisions on my own. So my guys go in, and they thought I was joking. So I saw a couple put something in their pocket. I told them, okay. I became the loneliest guy in the world. They wanted to fight me. I wasn't going to fight. I walked away. And we talked about that too. Because manhood is not proved by me being able to beat you, you being able to beat me. Manhood is proved by walking away sometimes from a very controversial issue. And you're going to be tested time and time and time again. And it may not always be physical. And Ms. Gaddis can always tell you, particularly in this business here, being an educator, being a principal is one of the toughest jobs you can ever have. Not only does she have to deal with the administration downtown, she's got to deal with parents. She's got to deal sometimes with community activists who don't even understand what it takes to run a school. So it's a tough job, but she has to make decisions, and she has to think these decisions out before she comes in and says, this is what's going to happen. And I know for a fact, because I have known this lady for a very long time, that all she has asked you to do is sit down, think before you speak. Put everything on the table so you can take a look at it before you make the next move. Because you only get one time to make the right decision. And sometimes making that bad decision will haunt you for the rest of your life. I don't want to see any one of you guys in the system. Because when you're in the system, you can't get a job like this. Now they've made it so difficult, you can't even get a school loan. You can't even get a school loan. So you've got to sit down and think before you act. And you've got to think before you speak. And I say this to everybody. I say this to my daughter. My daughter was a graduate of this school here, and she was a heck of a too. She would push the envelope. But the fact is, guys, is that it's very important. And I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again, that you think about what you're going to do and you make a plan for yourself. And I'm going to say this, keep God first, family second. Put that plan in place and you'll be a success. I want you guys to get
Thank you, Ms. Green, for those encouraging and those final words. We'll wrap it up in a few more minutes. Just give us a few more minutes, please. I want to ask Ms. Kate. Ms. Kate has been, I guess Ms. Gadsden would say her right arm anyway. And give Ms. Kate the name for
students, all of you know me. I'm the current educator. I've seen you from time to time, sometimes good times and sometimes what? Not so good. But anyway, I want you to remember everything that Attorney Graves, Mr. FICKLIN, Mr. Green that just spoke, and a number of other speakers have been here. That all that be ingrained in your head, you can go far. I've spoken to some of your parents. Everything they have told you is what we would like to see. Put into practice. We would like to look in the newspaper, read good things about you, nothing negative, but we want you to have a good life, do everything that will make you happy, you grow up to be an adult that you will be proud of, and the rest of us will be proud of. So for the 8th graders that won't be back, remember next year, don't forget us. Don't forget anything that you learned. And the 7th graders, we expect you to come back and bring more of your fellow students in. Have a good summer. Thank all of you.
A couple more words. This young man, you introduced to him, you know him. He's around the school here a lot. He's coming out of our sessions, as you know, a few times. I'm very proud. I've known him since, since he was born. Like he was born. And then his father and I grew up together. And his grandfather, a role model of mine, quite frankly, Mr. Bonner. And I want to introduce Sterling. I'm proud of him. He's in college right now. He's on a football scholarship, but he has something else in mind too. He wants to do engineering. He wants to be an engineer. So he's playing football, but his goal is to be an engineer as well. So he's a role model, so it's a little bit closer to your age than I am. So I want to give Sterling a round of applause.
Short period of time I've been here, I've learned a lot from you guys. So this is an excellent program. I hope to continue striving to continue with this issue here. Pretty much you guys' expectation, in the area that you're in, there's a lot of drug use and many other success. And this program is definitely a step in the right direction as far as trying to get focused. And I really think what you got to do is play with it.
All right. And I found I have my partner, Mr. Tom Ficklin. He's made a few words, but when he speaks, the world listens. At least I do. And so anyway, so Mr. Ficklin, I know you like to have some comments, some closing comments for these young men. Tom, forgive me, Mr. Ficklin.
Looking around you guys, because I know I'm going to see you this summer. I know you're going to see me. As Cliff mentioned, we're going to run into your parents, or you probably even know many of your relatives right now, but just haven't made the connection. As I'm talking, I guess what you think about it, you don't have to express it. Tell me, think in your mind of one thing you want to do this summer to kind of become better. That might be you might want to grow, you might want to get along better with your brother and sister, you might want to read the book. Mrs. Gaddison gave you guys a book to read this summer, did she not? What's the name of the book? What's the name of it again? So you may want to read that book, and we're going to see many of you again back in September. Even for those of you who are in the high school, we're going to work more in the high schools, you'll see us in the high schools. So I've gotten to know you, you've got to know us, but the point I'm trying to make is we're just getting started, and this summer, again, think about what you want to do. One thing you want to do this summer to improve yourself. Read. And my most attentive young gentleman here. One thing you want to do this summer. Stay out of trouble. And I read, I still tell myself I want to stay out of trouble. And so those are goals that not only this summer, but for the rest of your life. So it's good to see you guys, good to know you guys.
Before we give out these t-shirts, by the way, there are a couple things. We have t-shirts for you today, of course, the donors. But we have that's some second make. We're going to try to do it in high school with Mr. What eighth grade? Now, what high school? Tell us quickly what high school you attend next year. Eli with you move where you moving to? Virginia. Going to Virginia. What part? Roanoke, Virginia. Up in the mountains of Virginia. Very pretty up there. It's gold up there, I can tell you. It's gold, yes sir. We're wish you the best in Roanoke, Virginia. Yes sir. HSC, High School Community. Alright, let Mr. Ficklin here. See you. Let me see you on TV here. Yes sir. Cross. We'll cross. Alright, 12. That's it? Alright. Oh, yes sir, I'm sorry. What high school?
Otis Sanders. Tyreek Perkins. Timon Gordon. Dennis Cole.
When he comes to class, he's always drawing and sketching, and he's gonna be an artist. And he gave us to Mr. FICKLIN as a piece of art, as a contribution on both sides. Yeah, I'm not gonna frame this. Mr. FICKLIN figured out how we do it. But I want to give Giannis a hand. One day, now listen up. One day, and you heard the artist earlier, the musicians. You know, this is art. This is a great talent. One day we may have to pay to go see his work one day in some museum. You never know. But one day he may contribute something to legal BASSETT. It'd be a piece of art work that he contributed and painted or drew. And he used to be in the hallways here, right? Ms. Gadsden? You never know. You just never know. So we wish you best, man. Keep up the good work. And thank you so much, Gianni, for this piece of work. Give him a hand. Can y'all hear me back there? Good. All right. Listen, I want to share this story. You heard just quickly, Mr. Green talked about someone like you. Now, as we close this program, I want to share a story with you that I share oftentimes with young people when I travel around the city, around the state. I didn't have a chance to share it this time with you yet. So as we close, I want to share this story with you, something you remember in terms of as you go through the summer, as you go through life. The story is an African folk tale about the chicken and the eagle. So Ms. Gadsden heard me share this story before. The chicken and the eagle. This man was a farmer, an African farmer. He was a chicken farmer. You know, chicken, real live chicken. I'm talking about Popeye chicken. But one day he happened to venture out a little bit from his farm and saw this huge egg laying out in the middle of the road. Now he's a chicken farm, you know, he's used to chicken egg. You know, he used to eat it every day. And he said, but he saw this huge egg out in the middle of the road, and he said to himself, clear, if I leave this egg out in the middle of the road, some other animal would probably come and crush the life inside that egg, right? So he picked up the egg and took it back to his farm and put it in the barn so it could hatch, it could incubate. Well, 2 weeks later, the egg hatched, and lo and behold, there was a baby eagle inside the egg. So the chicken farmer said, gee, I'm a chicken farmer. All I know is raising chickens. I don't know a doggone thing about eagle. But it's a bird, right? An eagle is a bird, right? Yeah. He's like the chicken. So what I'll do, I take this eagle and put it out in the field, in the yard with other chickens. I'll feed it like the other chickens. I treat it like the other chickens. And that's what he did. Well, 6 months passed, and by now the eagle begins to take on characteristics of an eagle, right? With the wings spread, clearly an eagle, in the midst of hundreds of other chickens. And a stranger happened to come on the farmer's land, and he saw this one eagle in the middle of all these chickens. And he said to the farmer, excuse me, Mr. Farmer, but why is that one eagle in the middle of all these chickens? So the farmer told him the story. He said, look, you see, I'm a chicken farmer. All I've known my whole life is raising chickens. I saw this egg in the middle of the road. I brought it home, put it in the barn, it hatched. There was a baby eagle. And I know nothing about eagles, but I know about birds and chickens. So I treat it like other chickens. So while he looks like an eagle, he thinks like what? Because what? He's been raised to think like, you're so smart. Well, so the stranger said to the farmer, well, that's well and good. You should be commended for saving that eagle's life. But God made that eagle to fly and to soar and to take his rightful place on this earth. So really you're doing that eagle a disservice. You're not treating him right by keeping him out here with all these chickens. So the farmer said, you might be right, but I did the best I could. So the stranger said, let me work with this eagle and see if I can get him to understand his true mission and true purpose in life. So the farmer said, do what you will, do what you may. But that eagle will always think like what? Because he's been raised to think like what? All right. So the stranger said, we'll see. So the stranger went and got the eagle and put him on his arm and climbed up to the tallest tree there in the farmer's land. And he whispered into the eagle's ear, fly, eagle, fly. God made you to be an eagle. Take your rightful place and fly. But no sooner than he said that, the little chicken farmer threw down some chicken food, and the eagle went straight back to the ground and started picking up the chicken feed like the other chickens. Right? You know what chickens do? That's what they do. But the farmer said to the stranger, I told you. No matter what you do, no matter what you try, the eagle will always think like what? Because he's been raised to think like what, teachers? Well, the stranger said, let me try something. So he once again took the eagle, put him on his arm, and climbed on top of the barn, the tallest building there on the farmer's land. And once again whispered into the eagle's ear, fly, eagle, fly. God made you to fly and soar and take your rightful place. And no sooner than he said those words, that old chicken farmer threw down some more chicken feed. That eagle went straight back to the ground, started picking up the chicken feed like the other chickens. And the farmer said, I told you, man, no matter what you do, no matter what you try, that eagle will always think like what? Because he's been raised to think like what? Well, the stranger said, you know what? You're right. And maybe that's the problem. All this eagle has known his whole life is this chicken farm. He's been in this environment his whole life, around other chickens. Maybe all I need to do is take him up to the mountains, up to the hills where eagles fly. where eagles soar, where eagles learn how to become eagles. Eagles learn their true purpose and mission in life. So the farmer said, you do what you will, do what you might. That bird will always think like what? Because he's been raised to think like. So the stranger said, we'll see. So the stranger blindfolded the eagle, put him on his arm, and took him off that farmer's land. He went up to the mountains and to the hills, where eagles live, where eagles thrive, where eagles learn how to soar. Eagles learn their true mission and purpose in life. And day in and day out, the stranger kept telling the eagle, you are an eagle. You are special. You were made to soar and to fly and take your rightful place. Nothing wrong with being a chicken. You know, roast con pollo, chicken cacciatore, chicken and collard greens, Popeyes, that's all well and good. But you are an eagle, you are special, you are unique. God made you to fly and to soar. And day in and day out, after about 35 days of working with the eagle, trying to convince him of his true mission and true purpose in life, trying to unchickenize his brain. Finally, the day of reckoning came. So the stranger took his eagle, put him on his arm, and climbed into the tallest hill there in the village. He stood on the edge, right on the edge of that hill. And once again said to the eagle, took the blindfold off and said, eagle, fly. God made you to fly and to soar and take your rightful place. And at that moment, he threw the eagle off his arm. And the first eagle began to fall down that hill, as if you're going to fall and crash and die. But halfway down that mountain, for the first time in his life, he began to stretch out his wings and began to feel the strength and the eagleness that God had given him. And he could truly fly. He could truly soar. He could truly realize his true mission and purpose in life. And he gained his confidence. He flew back to the top of the mountain and he thanked the stranger. He flew over the chicken farm. He winked at the farmer and all those chickens that he grew up with and flew over to the clouds, realizing again his true mission and purpose to fly and to soar and to be an eagle. He realized that he found the eagleness inside of his heart and his mind. Well, the moral of that story for us here at Lincoln Bassett, young men and women, is this. There are people outside these walls who see you as a bunch of chickens. And all you do, and they prepare for you to go around life just like this, with your head down, just like this, looking down, straight on the street corner, not doing anything with your life. But what we're saying here at Lincoln Bassett, with Ms. Gaddison, Ms. Cates, Ms. Russell, these teachers here are saying, you are eagles. You are eagles who play the violin. You are eagles who want to be doctors and lawyers and engineers and CEOs and CS. Eagles, there you go. Eagles who fly and soar. That's the symbol there Ms. Gaddison holds in her hand. Eagle. And so, in order to be a great violinist, or a great teacher, or a great educator, or a great doctor, or an engineer, you have to realize there's an eagle inside of me. And there's an eagle who will fly over those mountains. I fly over the mountains of hate and indifference and ignorance and violence and guns. I fly over those who would doubt me. When we say because of the color of my skin, or because of my gender, or because of the language I speak, the neighborhood I come from, I can't make it just because of that. And you're going to say, no, I'm an eagle. I will fly, I will soar, and I will become whatever it is I intend to be. So that's the moral and the lesson of this Obama challenge, this Obama initiative, so you can find the eagleness inside of you, that you will fly and soar over whatever obstacles life puts in front of you. Mr. Ficklin has to fly. Ms. Gaddison, Ms. Cates has to fly. Sterling has to fly. Ms. Russell has to fly. We all had to learn how to fly. And we're still trying to learn how to fly over those obstacles, right, Ms. Russell? And they face us every single day. But you can do it too. You can be the eagle. You can be the eagle. So the lesson we want to leave with you today as we close this program is to find that eagleness in you. Remember the words of the great poet Langston Hughes. And if you don't know Langston Hughes, check him out. That'd be an assignment this summer. Go on the computer and find out about Langston Hughes, the great African-American poet. He wrote a poem that said, hold on, hold fast to your dreams, young men, young women. Hold on to your dreams. For life without dreams, listen now, life without dreams is like a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Life without dreams is like a broken winged bird that cannot fly. So hold on to your dreams. Hold on to your dreams. You can be anything you want to be, do anything you want to do. All right? Everybody stand up and let's do mountain. Everybody, who's all these eagle violinists here? Great artists, musicians here. All right. Everybody repeat after me. Mountain! 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 Move out of my way. Move out of my way. Mountain! Mountain! Move out of my way. Move out of my way. Mountain to guns. Mountain to guns. Move out of my way. Move out of my way. Mountain to drugs. Mountain to drugs. Move out of my way. Move out of my way. Mountain to ignorance. Mountain to ignorance. Move out of my way. Move out of my way. Mountain to violence. Mountain to violence. Move out of my way. Move out of my way. Because I am. Because I am. Somebody. Somebody. And I can be. And I can be. And I will be. And I will be. Anything. Anything. I want to be. I want to be. Doctor. Lawyer. Engineer. Entrepreneur. I want to be.
I want to
With
be.
my mind can't conceive it.
Can't see it.
In my heart
In my heart.
I can't believe it.
Can't believe it.
And I know
Then I know.
I know I can achieve it.
I can achieve.
So I am
am
an Obama scholar.
an Obama scholar.
And I will strive to be outstanding, brilliant. I will achieve.
I will achieve.
I'll be motivated.
Motivated.
With a positive attitude.
With a positive
attitude.
Positive attitude.
Mountain.
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 Move out of my way.
Move out of my way.
Give me your hand. Everybody have a great summer. And God bless you all. Take care, all right? Be safe. Ms. Jackson, Ms. Gates,